are not prepared!
Okay, Illidan, calm down. We got it. Hello everyone, my name is Icosiol, and today I'm going to do my best to get you prepared for the release of Classic Burning Crusade. Welcome to the first of what I hope to be many Classic Burning Crusade video guides. In this first edition, I want to give a brief overview of what I think are some of the more important subjects when it comes to WoW's first official expansion. However, please understand that at the time of writing this video, it is still unknown how each phase will work, what patch it will be based on, and even how the transition will work from WoW Classic. Therefore, the focus of this video will be on the basics of TBC, and what is important to understand for those who may have never played during the days of the Burning Crusade. So with all that said, let's get this video started. The Burning Crusade brings with it two new playable races, with the Blood Elves joining the Horde, and Draenei, who have joined the Alliance. With them, they bring new starter zones, racial abilities, a class that was once not playable for the two factions, and most importantly, new jokes.
The problem with these Horde characters is that they lack sophistication.
The High Elves of Quel'Thalas survived an attack by the Scourge, but lost the Sunwell that suffused their power for so long. To honor those who died, Prince Kael'thas named his people the Blood Elves. Being a race that is so in tune with magical energies, you will be barred from playing the warrior or shaman, but you will be able to play a rogue, mage, warlock, hunter, paladin, or priest. After generations of living with magic flowing within them, the Blood Elves have new racial abilities such as Mana Tap, which pulls mana from an opponent and charges you with arcane energy, Arcane Torrent, which is an AoE silence, Arcane Affinity, which increases your enchanting skill by 10, and Magical Resistance, that increases all of your magic resist by 5. You will begin your journey as a Blood Elf in the new zone of Eversong Woods. With the help of the Naaru, the Draenei have spent thousands of years fleeing the Burning Legion. Now fleeing the broken world of Outland, they have crashed the Exodar on the surface of Azeroth. Having spent years training with the Light, you will be barred from playing the Rogue or Warlock classes. What you can adventure as is a hunter, paladin, priest, mage, warrior, or shaman. The Draenei have learned a great deal from the Naaru, which has granted them racial abilities such as the Gift of Naaru, which allows them to heal themselves or their allies, Inspiring and Heroic Presence, which grants 1% hit or spell hit, Gem Cutting, which increases your jewel crafting skill by 5, and Shadow Resistance, that increases your shadow resist by 10. As a Draenei, you will begin your adventures in the new zone of Azure Mist Isle. Probably the most important change for you to understand in TBC Classic are the updates that were introduced to your character statistics. New stats such as critical rating, dodge rating, haste, and resilience provide certain effects as shown here. However, I must stress that expertise may or may not be available at release. That's because it wasn't until patch 2.3 that expertise joined the stat blocks. I will go into more depth of these statistics in a moment. Along with the new stats and terminology, your character sheet has received an upgrade to better allow you to make sense of it all. Difficult to find stats such as dodge and parry are now easy to find in the drop-down menu with a better explanation of what the numbers all mean when you highlight them individually. You might already be familiar with the growth curve, but the new system adds par values for many other types of statistics. Instead of gear that adds plus 1% crit, you instead get a crit rating. 14 points of crit rating may be nice at level 60, but at level 70 it will be of far less value. This grading curve remains true for all your other abilities as well. So what should you be striving for when you reach level 70? Shown here are the caps and rating that you will need in order to perform at your best when you reach the endgame. Understanding these numbers will help you make sense of many class guides you might come across when talking about stat priorities and which you should cap first. For reference, let's look at hit rating. 15.7 hit rating will equal 1% hit chance. That means you need a total of 142 hit rating to reach 9% hit chance and never miss. Remember that specific talents and your weapon skill can all increase your hit rating. but know that any more than 142 is pretty much a waste and should be focused on your next priority stat. Expertise, when available, will reduce your target's chance to dodge and parry your attacks. We see here that 3.9 expertise rating equals 1 expertise, therefore, to no longer be dodged, you will need an expertise rating of 91 to reach the soft cap of 23 expertise. You can still be parried though, which is why I mentioned soft cap. In order to drop parry from the table, you need 253 expertise rating, which is just not a realistic thing to strive for, and that's especially so if you're not a tank. Lastly, I will talk briefly about resilience, which is primarily a PvP stat meant to reduce incoming burst damage. You might think defense works the same way, but in actuality, defense reduces your chance of getting hit, while resilience reduces the amount of damage you take when you are hit. Not only does resilience reduce the incoming damage you take, but it also reduces your chance of taking a critical hit. Also understand that for every percentage of resilience you have that reduces your chance to be critically hit, reduces the incoming damage by double that percentage. Now, this isn't meant to be some in-depth encyclopedia on how every stat works, but I wanted to point out a few so you got a decent understanding of how they work. To really go in depth, as I said earlier, you'll want to take a look at class guides that really go into the details of that class's mechanics. At the very minimum though, you'll want to know what each stat's rating cap is, as I have shown here. Yep, you saw that correctly. Looking for group and looking for more began in the Burning Crusade. This simple quality of life addition has brought all sorts of controversy in the years ahead, but we're not talking about all that. Instead, how does it work? You can type \LFG or LFM to open the interface, or click on the new icon on the micro menu. At the bottom of the interface, you will see the two tabs of Looking for Group and Looking for More. Looking for Group is when you're advertising what you're looking to do to those who are looking for more people to fill their group. Your options when looking for a group are for dungeons, raids, battlegrounds, or even quests you're actively on. At the bottom, you can add a note to better provide useful information for those looking to potentially add you. You might list yourself as wanting to complete both Hellfire Ramparts and Blood Furnace, but add that you prefer to run Blood Furnace over Ramparts. Looking for more is when you maybe have a group or are looking to start one and want specific classes to join you. This menu allows you to select the different categories and see who is specifically looking for what. So if you select the Steam Vaults dungeon, you will see all who are looking to join a group that will run Steam Vaults. If you want to add someone to your group, just click on their name and add them to your group. Also, at the top is the Auto Add Members toggle, which will fill your group rather quickly if enough are available. Dungeons in TBC have become a lot more streamlined. Gone are the days of traveling all over the world to get all the quests that are tied to a specific dungeon. Now each dungeon has only a few quests that are all gotten relatively close together, or at least in the same zone. Also new for TBC is the dungeon site, which has several dungeons of varying levels tied to it. For example, the Hellfire Citadel is home to the Hellfire Ramparts, Blood Furnace, and Shattered Halls dungeons, while also hosting the Mechtheridon's Lair raid. Shown here are the instance sites as well as the dungeons and raids that are found there. You'll notice raids such as Gruul's Lair and Black Temple are their own standalone raids and not a part of any instance site. Raiding also takes on a different approach in TBC in the form of attunements. When the Burning Crusade first launched, Tier 4, 5, and 6 raids were actually available. What stopped players from progressing through the content so fast was each tier required some sort of attunement to gain access. This meant that before you could get to the Tier 5 raids, your guild members must have completed specific content in Tier 4 and so on. This attunement chart shows just how involved this actually was. Word is still out on how this content will be released for Classic TBC, so we will see if we're still gated by way of attunement or gated through content phases. Also first introduced in the Burning Crusade was something called Heroic Difficulty for the dungeon specific to the expansion. That means you can't go back to the old world and run a heroic Ragefire Chasm, although that would be kind of cool. Heroic dungeons provide a new challenge for those who have reached level 70 and are decently geared. That means a dungeon such as Hellfire Ramparts, which is rated for levels 59 to 63 characters, is now meant for level 70 characters, and has a few more surprises to deal with. Gear that drops are all designed for level 70 tunes, and the final bosses can also drop an epic item. You can also obtain Badges of Justice, which is currency for more item upgrades, and Primal Nethers for crafting high-level items. To unlock Heroic difficulty, you need to increase your reputation with specific factions tied to the instances. Next week, I'll go into detail with all of these factions, including how to increase your reputation as quickly as possible with each one. The first thing any PvP player needs to know is that the old honor system is gone. That's right, you no longer have to play 16 hours a day for 3 months in order to reach the highest ranks. Honor no longer decays, and instead you will receive marks from Battlegrounds along with the honor you've gained to purchase upgraded items. It will still take a fair amount of time to earn what you need to make those purchases, but you can now earn what you need at your own pace instead of needing to no-life the game to get the gear. TBC also first introduced the Arena to World of Warcraft, where you can join with random players or form your own teams for 2v2, 3v3, and 5v5 matches. Arenas get extremely competitive as they are rated, so your win-loss ratio becomes very important. Players below level 70 can practice in the arena, but rated matches are reserved for level 70 characters only. If your goal is to work towards those arena rewards, you'll want to practice as much as you can with your friends to develop your strategies. The Eye of the Storm is the new battleground for TBC, and it plays similar to both Warsong Gulch and Arathi Basin. Each team will attempt to reach the point goal, and to do that, you will use capture the flag efforts while also controlling terrain. To enter the new battleground, you simply need to speak with its according battlemaster. World PvP is still very much a thing in the Outlands, as seizing territory can provide buffs for those of your faction who find themselves in the zone or instances within. The zones of Hellfire Peninsula, Zangar Marsh, Terakar Forest, and Nagrand all have specific PvP goals that require a force in numbers to change the tide rather than simply clicking on a flag. When you're in these zones, you'll see a progress bar showing which side has or is gaining control from the other faction. Once your faction has control, you will be rewarded with the benefits given by that zone. You may have had your professions maxed at 300 for quite some time, and now you get to level them again with master level proficiency to a skill of 375. To earn the next level in your professions, you need to find these Grandmaster trainers in the Outlands. All that is required is that you are level 60 and your profession is at 300. Every profession has gained many new recipes, designs, and plans learned from trainers, found from world drops, and dungeon and raid drops. Enchanting, or I should say disenchanting, has endured a bit of a change though from Classic. Disenchanting now has a skill level requirement, so gone are the days of an enchanter with a skill of 25 being able to disenchant a level 60 item. Jewel crafting is the new profession of this expansion, and to learn this you need to head over to the new zones in the old world of Azeroth. Your trainers for jewel crafting are Fairy, who is found here in the Exodar, and Hanner Gembold in Ironforge for the Alliance. The Horde can learn from Kalinda in Silvermoon City, Alinea in Eversong Woods, and Nahari Cloudchaser in Thunderbluff. This is a primary profession, so if you already have two and want to learn it, you'll have to drop one of your current professions. Jewel crafting makes all sorts of rings and trinkets while you level it up, but where it really shines is when you start cutting gems to fill item sockets for high-level items. Everyone needs constant upgrades through gems, so this profession can really be a cash cow. I will go into much greater detail with jewel crafting in a future video, so stay tuned for that. The concept of factions and earning reputation for them is nothing new to the World of Warcraft, however the Burning Crusade does step it up a notch. There are 19 new factions with this expansion, and each one gives good incentives that will inspire you to increase your reputation with them. Nearly every faction provides weapon and gear upgrades, new recipes for your professions, unique tabards you can wear, and in several cases, new mounts you can ride. Some of your primary factions such as Honorhold and Thrallmar, Lower City, Cenarian Expedition, and the Consortium are absolutely necessary if you plan to raid, as they will unlock heroic difficulty dungeons required for some attunements. As I stated earlier, I will be releasing faction reputation guides soon describing what you need to know regarding all of these factions. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you how to get to the Outland in an introductory style guide. So to do that, you simply fly to the Blasted Lands in the Eastern Kingdoms and travel through the Dark Portal when you're at least level 58. Your first means of travel are immediately to your left and right once you cross over to Outland in the form of a new flight path. Just like in the old world, there's new flight masters located all over the world. When you eventually get to the city of Shatrath, you'll find portals at the center of the city that will take you back to your faction's old cities like Stormwind and Orgrimmar. Also found in Silvermoon City and Undercity is a portal connecting the two for safe travel beyond the Plaguelands. When you reach your level cap of 70, you can learn to ride flying mounts, and if you're really rolling in gold, you can learn to ride very fast flying mounts that provide faster travel than that provided by flight masters. Druids kinda cheat when it comes to flying though, as they have the ability to learn their flight form at level 68. Keep in mind that all flying is restricted to just Outland. Lastly, I've gotta tell you about the new and improved meeting stones. Gone are the days of needing a warlock to summon your group to the instance. As soon as a second member of your group arrives, just select the person you want to summon and click on the meeting stone. Your partner can click on the portal and voila! Instant summoning. Now go and enjoy all the new content. Thank you very much for watching this introductory guide to the Burning Crusade Classic. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, subscribe, and click on that bell to be notified of new content I create for WoW Classic. You can follow me on Twitter at Icosiol Classic WoW, and for some of my other content you can click on any of these links here. Thank you again for watching, and remember to take caution when beginning your first quest in Outlands. Level 60 just is not what it used to be.